Well, good morning. This is N4LQ. November 4, Lima, Quebec. Calling CQ the Old Friends Net. The Old Friends Net is an amplitude modulation roundtable net. Anybody that's running AM is welcome to check in with us. We'll take a list of check-ins and put them in order, and you can pass it around the table. We meet here every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. Excuse me, Thursday morning at 8 a.m. and on Sundays at 6 p.m. Those wishing to check in, please call now.
Good morning, Steve, WA4LLR.
Morning, K3OS.
W4MEC.
Okay, I think I got, did I hear Jimmy JAL?
You did.
I sure did. Okay, you and Charlie got into a tussle there. Anybody else? A little slow this morning, aren't we? A little staticky on the band from somewhere, I guess. I have to look at the map and see where that noise is coming from. Well, here's what I've got so far. WA4LLR, K3OS, K4JAL, and W4MEC. Do we have some more check-ins? Please call. A little small group this morning. Boy, it's clear skies and sunshine today. I think we're in for some dry weather. It looks to me like summertime is here. When does summer start anyway? I don't even know. But it looks like I saw one day like 92 degrees for like Friday or something like that. So it's getting up there. And what I did on my grass, I cut it extra tall. Last time I cut it 4 inches tall, and that seems to help maintain it through the dry spell a little bit. But I don't do a lot of manicuring on the grass, but I have noticed over the years that some of these people, their grass will dry up and turn brown, and they're the ones that cut it really, really short. Anyway, here I am acting like an expert on grass. I'm running about 250 watts carrier, and the rig is the SDR this morning, doing a live stream and all that. So, Dave, over to you in Burnsville, WA4LLR, N4LQ.
All right, Steve. N4LQ and the old friends, WA4LLR. Well, good morning to everybody. We've got about 55 degrees, looks like, and beautiful clear skies. It feels like a fall day rather than nearing the first day of summer, which officially begins June 20th at 4:50 p.m. to be exact. Or at least that's the time and date of the summer solstice. Running the K4 VWD Memorial Station this morning, the F68 PMR8, and feeding it into the SB220. Looks like about 225, 250 on the carrier, and peaking up a little higher, of course. But band seems to be in good shape. According to ham clock, the D layer absorption is not very bad yet. So hopefully it's going to be good communications today. Gary, down to you in Hickory, K3OS, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR. K3OS. All right, Dave. Well, propagation from Burnsville is really good this morning. There you go. Beautiful day here on this side of the mountains. And a little cloud cover. It looks like it's, according to our forecast, going to be a little less humid today and a little lower temperature, whatever. So we'll take it. And got some noise here. I thought it was. Can't figure out what the. I thought it was the LMAX. So the other day, so I'm running the Kenwood twins into the amplifier for about 100 watts. But the noise is on this receiver too, so it must be in the house or external to the house. It's kind of like an impulse noise, pulsing. The problem is that this receiver is the earlier R99, R599. Does not have the noise limiter in it, so I have no chance to pull it out, but you boys are covering it up very, very nicely. So let me turn it over to my friend Jimmy, K4JAL, K3OS.
K3OS, K4JAL. Well, good morning. This is the smallest group I've ever heard on the old friends. Glad I came. I'm running the solid state stuff. I was going to go over and get on the vintage stuff this morning, but got lazy. I guess I'm doing about about 80 watt stereo. And this little RM Italy rig that works pretty good if I remember to tune it. Okay, over to you, W4MEC, K4JAL.
Okay, Jimmy, K4JAL in the group, W4MEC. Good morning, fellas. Yeah, it's about 57 degrees here, and clear. Beautiful day out there. Birds are chirping. Got the bird feeders out for them, so they're happy, and squirrels are too. So everybody's happy on the outside right now. The hawk is not around. It's amazing how they know the sound of the hawk, and they will disappear, or they will congregate under the tree there where you can't get at them. So. But I have seen a hawk fly in the tree and grab a blue jay and take off with it, so when they want to, they can. Not a whole lot going on here today. I'm going to meet a couple fellas for lunch, I hope. One guy's coming back from Wyoming with a buddy of his. They went out there to work on his remote station. He's setting up a remote station out there that he can operate from down where he lives near Columbus, North Carolina. Let's see. And the only other thing is I've been working on a fellow's Polycrafter's receiver, but I forgot who it was. I couldn't remember who it was, and when my buddy called me yesterday about lunch, he said, had I fixed John's receiver yet? And I said, oh, that's who owns it. Anyway, I had not fixed it. Matter of fact, it was one of those deals where he told me all it just needs is a cleaning. Well, it didn't. Anyway, I replaced a couple of bad caps in it. I didn't go through the whole thing. But what I found last night was a broken 80-meter oscillator coil, and it's wound with Litz wire. And I was able to tack the connection back together to ground, and I'm going to test it this morning and hope it works. Otherwise, the receiver's working okay. It's got a couple broken slugs on the 10 and 15 meter band, and the antenna and mixer peaking, but they seemed like they were close compared to the other bands. But somebody had taken 10 meters and retuned it to CB bands, so I thought it was dead as a post on 10 meters till I found 28 at 27, so I was happy that's all that was. So that's the big excitement for the day around here. N4LQ in the group, W4MEC.
All right, real good. Do we have any more check-ins? This is N4LQ listening.
SWB4NKL. Got here a little late.
Okay, well, good morning, Cliff. Go ahead and make a transmission, then back to me.
Okay, Steve. Everybody's sounding pretty decent here. I'm running the command set again today. I had a great 2A receiver that I had worked on for Norm, and supposed to deliver it Saturday to Knoxville Hamfest. So I hooked it up to make sure everything's still fine with it. I guess I'll run this setup for the rest of the week. It's about 60 degrees here, and feels real nice outside. So I'm gonna go get that walk in before it gets much warmer. So send it on around. Go ahead, Steve. N4LQ. It's WB4NKL.
All right, real good. I just looked at the forecast for Friday, 93 here in Shelby. All right, any more check-ins? Call N4LQ. Okay, so Cliff, you'll be after Charlie, and then back to me, and that's the round table. And fine on the command set, it sounds great. Every time somebody mentions command, I think of the DOS command line. Oh, wasn't that fun? Well, my amplifier is still at the repair shop, the solid state German job. And he called me yesterday and told me the news about the chip, the LD MOS chip. There's 2 of them, and each one is rated for a kilowatt. And they're about, an inch long and about 3/8 of an inch wide, just little old things, and got big flat copper ground plane connectors coming out of them that solder to the circuit board. And there's a block of aluminum on top with 2 screws that go through the ends that pull it down tight against the heat sink. But one of them is blowing, and he said they're about $250 a piece as far as cost goes. So it's comparable to like a 3-500 as far as cost, I guess. Yeah, pretty much close to the same power, maximum. The thing is, it's got 45 amps going through those at 55 volts. That's a lot of current, and apparently there's a tendency for them to sort of move a fraction of an inch a little bit, swell up or warp or something, and they fail to make contact with the heat sink underneath, and that destroys them. He's come up with his own method of clamping them down better, and hopefully that'll take care of the issue. But I think I'm going to sell it when I get it back. I don't think they're a good idea on AM. Anything constant carrier just doesn't seem like a good idea for a solid state amplifier like LD MOS type thing. Tubes are okay though, and I've got a AL811H coming my way, so I'll use that on sideband, and then I'll use this AL82 on AM. Sorry about the noise there, Gary, and I didn't know the R599 didn't have any noise limiter. That's kind of funny, since the noise limiters go way back. But anyhow, Dave, your memorial station's sounding good, and Jimmy, your REM Italy is holding up okay. That doesn't use LD MOS, I'm sure. And still, you gotta, of course, it's really made for AM. I'm pretty sure that thing was made mostly for CB radio, the REM Italy line did. Of course, I know it's got the band switch and all that, but it's made to handle a bit of AM. So Charlie, okay on the helicopters and the singing birds and all that. Anyway, it's 66 degrees here, and I'm leaving here after the net and going to another doctor to the lab core and get another blood test. They keep bouncing me around from one place to another. That's part of getting old, I guess. So back to you, Dave. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
N4LQ. And the group WA4LLR. Well, I hope your phlebotomist is good and doesn't do any probing like some I've had before and can get you on that first stick. And hope the results are good. Gary, the Kenwood twins sound good. Sorry about the noise. And Jimmy, the new technology that you're running this morning is doing a good job for you. Charlie, glad the mystery of the ownership of the Hallicrafter has been solved. And Cliff, the command rig, sounds good as always. And hope you fellas that are going to the Knoxville Ham Fest Saturday have a good time. And don't get too hot down there. Probably going to be a warm day. Let's see. Well, our space weather, sunspot count is about 146. Solar flux index is 178, and the K index is 2.7. So not too bad. The only detriment is the interplanetary magnetic field near Earth has shifted south, which gives it a negative effect on our magnetosphere, which sometimes creates an opening for solar wind to come in and play a little havoc, but maybe not. Hopefully, so far, there's no significant D-layer absorption at this frequency. We're doing pretty good today. Of course, that will change as the day progresses. Yesterday was real bad. I watched the DRAP forecast for quite a bit yesterday, and man, signals were attenuated way up. So, interesting space weather. A few things from this day in history. On this day in 1963, the University of Alabama was desegregated. On this day here's one that goes back a ways, 323 BC, Alexander the Great passed away. More recently, on this day in 1979, John Wayne passed away. I always liked John. He was probably my favorite Western character. On this day in 1944, John F. Kennedy received a medal for gallantry. On this day in 1949, Hank Williams made his Grand Ole Opry debut. On this day in 1955, a race car at Le Mans crashed into the spectators and killed 83. Man, that was bad. And on this day in 1776, Congress appointed the Committee of Five to draft the Declaration of Independence. So, down to you, Gary, K3OS, WA4LR.
WA4LLR, K3OS. Interesting tidbits this morning. All right, just a couple comments here, backwards in order on John Wayne. Yeah. So I'm a believer that if John Wayne weren't around, we would not have won the Second World War. He was great in the westerns, but man, did a huge amount. World War II pictures, around that era as well. As for the bird, got an interesting bird story. We have a little feeder that suction cups to one of the windows in one of our rooms. And for the past week or so, we've had a bluebird who has decided that forget the feeder, but he wants to get inside the house, so he keeps pecking away at the window. Morning, noon, night, just keeps trying to fly into the house. I put some paper up on the window. That doesn't seem to help. I can't figure it out. He must be getting some sort of crazy reflection. It's not unusual, but poor bird is still living. And on the noise blanker, it is strange. On the later I have the silver or chrome, whatever colored pair. On the later versions, the D model, which is the champagne colored There is a noise blanker in there. Yeah, it is strange, but I have a friend of mine who's got the champagne version. Well, you know, Rick. Anyway, most of you guys do. What is it? WK4R. Anyway, he's got the champagne version. He complains because of the coloring, you can't see the dial letters and all that stuff, which is kind of true. At least not the black on the silver you can see, but the black on the champagne, because of the size lettering and everything they use, is very, very difficult. Anyway, that's what Kenwood did. So that's my stories for the moment. K4JAL. Go ahead, Jimmy. K3OS.
K3OS, K4JAL. Well, you sounded good this morning. Champagne or not? I got into some trouble yesterday. I'm now the proud owner of a Hickok 539C. I got on there looking at it, and they bragged on it big and how good shape it was, and I bid 60% of what they were asking for it, and I won. So I'm now the proud owner of a Hickok. Looking forward for it getting here, though. I never have had a tube checker that worked. I'm disappointed in you, Cliff, for selling the command set. I didn't know you would have parted with that, or I'd have made a run on you for it. Oh, well. I guess it's back to Steve. N4LQ, K4JAL.
It goes to Charlie.
Where have I heard that before? K4JAL and the group W4MEC. Yeah, a lifetime childhood of being referred to as Charlie the Tuna. Oh yeah, okay. Sorry, Charlie. Whatever happened to that ad? Yeah, that was pretty good. Ad used to have some good TV ads, but they can't do that anymore. The Frito Bandito, and I don't even know about I don't know if the Valley of the Jolly Green Giant still has the Green Giant living in it anymore, but might not meet some kind of minority protocol on TV or something. But anyway, let's see. I'm making progress on a couple of things that I'll mention since Buddy isn't here. I'm getting closer to firing up that ART-13. I got my 50 amp, my military surplus 50 amp power supply positioned correctly. It was in the way. So while I'm not fast, I am working steady. That is when I'm totally deciding to not work on somebody else's receiver. I told him I didn't want to do that, and he said, "Oh, just take your time." Well, they gave it to me last year, so and let's see. And the summer, I don't know if summer starts on the equinox or the day after, but the 20th of June is the equinox, so I think summer starts on the 20th or the 21st, so it's just a few days away. And to start the official hot days of summer, I guess, and working our way towards the cool down in September, hopefully, and hope it doesn't get too hot here. It's been pretty moderate here the last decade or so. 32 years ago, when we first moved here, August I think it had more days that were in the 90s than not. Matter of fact, I think all of August was in the 90s, and we had no air conditioning in the house, but when I put in an attic fan at night, we'd open the windows and turn the fan on, and of course it got cool at night, and we were used to a lot hotter weather, but wasn't expecting that. Next summer, I did the same thing. We had a lot of 90-degree days when you're only supposed to get like 2. And that turned out to be not true. But ever since, I think I can count on one hand how many 90-degree days we've had in the past 30 years. And 2 summers we got warm enough for the girls. When we had 2 young daughters there in an above-ground pool, they wouldn't go swimming. The darn pool never warmed up. So I'm not sure about this global warming thing right here. It's been pretty much global cooling. So we'll see what happens. Over to Cliff, WB4NKL on the group, W4AC.
Tennessee, WB4NKL. Well, personal observation around here, Charlie, the summers are not any hotter here in East Tennessee. If you want hot, you have to look back into the 50s. There was a lot of 100-degree days back in that time. But the winters are milder, I have to say that, so I don't know if that's part of it. But summer's not hotter, but the winters are milder. That's my statement on the weather here. Jimmy, I didn't sell the command sets. I've still got them. I've hooked them up because I was working on Norm's Drake receiver, and it was the easiest transmitter to hook the receiver up with and give it a try. So the receiver's the only thing that goes to Norm. Command sets are staying here. And good deal on the 539C. I was able to latch on to the one I had from work when they did away with all the tube equipment. It was pretty good shape. So I got a good deal on mine, but they're kind of expensive on the internet. I know that. I guess if you got it for 60%, you're doing pretty good. Hopefully it's been calibrated and checked out and everything. But I think you'll enjoy it. Send it on around. Go ahead, Steve. N4LQ, WB4NKL.
All right. Real good, Cliff. WB4NKL. N4LQ. Do we have any late check-ins? Amazing. What a small group. Small but efficient. Well, let's see. Dave, I think you said something about bluebirds, and it got me to thinking about that movie called K-Pax. It was Kevin Spacey starred in, and he was supposed to be an alien from outer space, and I just remember they were waiting for the bluebird of happiness to come along. Every day they waited for that bluebird, and it finally showed up. So I don't know, you got any of those out there? And if you saw one, would you be happier? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, the Knoxville Handfest. Don't want to forget that. And I'm sure some of you guys over that way will be going, and I don't know if I will or not. Yesterday I drove to Winston-Salem, and that's the longest drive I've taken for several years. And took a couple of Tylenol before I left, and I did just fine. I got there in fairly good shape and got back home again without any incident. Got behind the new Hyundai Santa Fe, which I've got a 2014, and it's a nice car. Look, it's a pretty car, but the new one, they have totally, as far as I'm concerned, they've totally wrecked the looks of it. It's a real square. Well, it looks more like a Jeep than anything else, you know, just kind of squared off like a Cherokee, and got little fenders on it, and the tail lights have an H pattern, and so do the headlights have an H pattern for running lights around it. That's really cool. But I don't understand their philosophy. But then I was showing the XYL a picture of it, and she said, "Oh, that's terrible. I would never have one of those." And then I looked up a Jeep, and let's see, what's the big one? The Grand Cherokee, yeah. And now that thing looks like a rocket ship, real sleek, curvy, sharp lines. Looks more like a Lexus. So these car manufacturers are taking turns redesigning their cars. I don't know what to think. Anyway, they've messed up the Hyundai. Yeah, let's see what else we got here. Congratulations to Jimmy on the hiccup tube tester. Hope that works out for you. Maybe you'll get one that works this time. And Charlie the tuna. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Charlie. What was this? Starkist? That's who makes that, I think. The tuna fish. They kept fishing for tuna. Charlie would try to get hooked, and somebody would say, "Sorry, Charlie." He said, "I've got good taste," and he'd say, "No, we want tunas that taste good, not tunas with good taste." Yeah. And the Green Giant, of course, we talked about that a while back. They still got him on the can. And that song by the Kingsmen is still out there. You all need to listen to the Valley of the Jolly Green Giant, ho, 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 and all that stuff. And I hope the ART-13 fires up real soon. We get to hear that thing. So anyhow, I'll go ahead and pass it around for another round. It's only 8:30, so we got time. Let's try it and see what happens. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
All righty. N4LQ. WA4LLR. Yep. There were some neat little commercials back in the day. Some animated and some not. And speaking of animated, the cartoons when I was growing up were funny. I thoroughly enjoyed Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, Yosemite Sam, the Tasmanian Devil, the Roadrunner, and Wile E. Coyote. Genius. Those were great. Now, oh Lord, I've looked at a few that the kids look at, and oh well. I guess it's like me and rap music. That's something I've never been able to wrap my head around, is rap music, but that's just a matter of taste. Oh well. Oh mercy. Well, let's see here, Jimmy. I need another update on the SDR rig that you built. How you're using that? You got it going? Made contacts with it, so on and so forth. And what else? Charlie's with that ART-13 like me and my end-fed 80-meter half wave. I've been getting parts together and building stuff for that over months and months, and I still haven't got it up, but at least I've got the parts now. Got the unassembled, the box fixed, and everything is ready except getting a line over a tree that I want to use for an end support, and I'm still scratching my head on how I'm going to get that done, since I don't have a bow and arrow, and my throwing arm is not in good enough shape to get a projectile across it. I'm still waiting for a divine inspiration on getting me a string across the tree. Hopefully that'll come to pass here before long. Everything else is in readiness. So, back down around, and congratulations on the hiccup, Jimmy. K3OS, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, K3OS. Okay, Dave. You sound really good down here. As you always do. Normally we have really good propagation between us here. Not much more to comment on. Yeah, Jimmy, wonder what you're running there as well. So I'll bid everybody a really good day, and try to catch up with you on Thursday morning here. I think like Cliff said, I think I see a couple of guys fishing out here in the lake. It's a good day to go fishing. I think I'm going to go get my walk in and some stuff done as well. So 73s to everybody. We'll catch you later. K4JAL, K3OS.
K3OS, K4JAL. Well, bye, Gary. Yeah, I'm running the 7610. Got an end fed that needs a tuner, and have that running too. it's my usual rig because it's here where I get out of the bed, and that's usually what I get on. I like the old stuff better, but it's a mile drive over there. Dave, the SDR transceiver is still an SDR. It works fine that way. I've got most of the tuning done on the exciter. It seems to work well, but I don't get any power out when I take the power amplifier and just run it, putting power on it and turning it on. It seems to work well, but the two don't gel. So it's still an SDR, but I'll never give up. That's my motto, never give up. Charlie, I won't forget you this time, buddy. M4MEC, W4MEC, K4JAL. Over to you, Tuna.
Okay. NWD, WG49, W4MEC. Close is good enough. That's all right. Horses and hand grenades, right? Someone will figure it out. But anyway, yeah. So where else am I here? I don't know. I've got a HR10 I got to fix for a guy in a ICOM 720, I think it is. Now there's an old rig. It's got a transmit receive problem. I think the relay's bad in it. I hope it's simple. And I'm gonna swear off fixing stuff for people from now on. I tell you, I got a lot of stuff that I'd like to get to myself. So, and that's some of the reason that I'm slow on getting things like the ART13 going. And my command set, I've got an entire command set that I built and been pretty much through, and I've got the racks. I made all the cables up. I got tuning cables and the tuning control, the remote tuning control for 3 receivers in the rack. Everything ready to go, and I've not fired it up yet to see if it's actually going to work. Power supply works. I mean, the modulator, my dynamotor, and all that, and I have fired the transmitters up in a separate situation, and they seem to work, but never had the full setup with a modulator, so we're going to get that going. Not lucky with the plate modulator like Cliff's got. I've got the screen grid modulator for it. I've got 3 of them here, and none of them turned out to be a plate modulator. I had hopes that the shiny one would be one, because the black ones are the should I speak correctly? I think the black ones are the Navy ones, and the shiny ones, SCR-274, are supposed to be the Army ones. I always thought that was odd. It should have been the other way around. But anyway, I don't think any of them are plate modulators. They only have one 807 in them. So, but I think I've got a black one and a silver one, all with one 807. So I guess they made different, painted them different colors. Or at least put paint on one, the wrinkle finish, and left the other one in the raw. So, which is interesting. I made a comment about that in this article I wrote about this Lear transmitter, how the black paint was falling off of it like leprosy. I mean, and what's was underneath was clear aluminum. And I'd wondered, I've run across that on several pieces of military gear, where the darn black wrinkle will, after, it'll just start falling off. You can set it on the floor, and it'll slowly just start falling apart, and there'll be nice, bright and shiny aluminum underneath, which is probably the key to why it's falling off. That particular paint guy didn't prep the surface right or something. But anyway, I do have plans of firing that up too, and I haven't put my BC375 on the air in a long time. I need to do that too. So. One of these days I'll have a wall of that stuff, and I can just switch between them. So that's what we're aiming for. And with my new 50 amp power supply, I can not have to use. I had 2 separate ones I had one for the BC375 and another one for the ART13 and the command set. So I can run both of those off of that big 50 amp supply now and see how they do. So. All right, let's see, WB4NKL in the group, W4MEC.
W4MEC, WB4NKL. Yeah, you'll have a more original setup than what I've got. Of course, this was already done. Somebody built a power supply, 600 volt supply, a copy of the ICO plate modulator. So that's what's going on with the command sets here. But Charlie, I understand what you're saying there. I've got enough projects here to keep me busy forever, but it's hard to refuse, when a friend asks you to do something. So still doing some of that. Let's see, Knoxville Hamfest. I'm getting ready for that. I've got a few things laid out here. I've got to take my sister to the airport tomorrow, and so I don't start putting stuff in the vehicle till after that trip. But gotta get ready for that. I'm gonna go ahead and say 73s and get started here before it gets any more warmer and humid. I don't think it's supposed to get real bad today, but I like to walk when it's cool when I can. So 73s, enjoyed it. Thanks for calling, Steve. N4LQ, WB4NKL.
All right. Do we have any really late check-ins? N4LQ.
K4GDN.
Oh, man, you are really late. Hi, George. Good to hear you. Go ahead and give us a transmission and turn it back to me.
N4LQ, K4GDN. And I didn't know everybody was starting early. I wasn't in here on Sunday, so out on something. I'm running the Drake 4B group this morning. So, now maybe that's a little better. Can you copy me better now, Steve?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't have the final quite kicked in, the linear. Anyway, I'm on the 4Bs. I didn't know we were going to start early. I wasn't in on Sunday, and I've been having some problems picking up more or less anything here in Myrtle Beach. Just came out and turned things on. I heard you talking. So I'll turn it back to you. N4LQ, K4GDN.
All right, K4GDN, N4LQ. Well, you're booming in here, man. Sound good, especially with the amp on the Drakes. Well, yeah, that's we've been meeting at 8 o'clock for a few weeks now, I think, and it went out on the email reflector and so forth. It got talked about on the net, and we ate lunch over it, I think. Anyway, sorry you didn't hear about it, but if you can make it, we'd love to have you. And we are doing the 73 round now anyway, and winding down. We've already lost 2 members to 73s. That would be Gary. K3OS is gone, and Cliff, WB4NKL. So Charlie will turn it to George for his 73s. And let's see here. Talking about tuna made me think of sardines, and my mind wandered back to 1971 when I used to ride to work with this guy that drove I think it was a 62 Ford Falcon, and it was kind of a dirty car, but he ate sardines for breakfast on the way to work every morning. Plus he chewed a plug of tobacco and at the same time, and he had the sardines up on the dashboard, and he had a styrofoam cup or a paper cup or something stuck on the I think it was the heater knob that sticks out, and he'd poke that thing on there and just hang there. That was his spitting cup, and he would keep the chew over in one jaw, and then he'd grab a sardine and eat it, and then a few minutes later he'd spit in that cup. It's one of the worst rides I've had to work. I got over it, I guess. Anyhow, let's see. Sorry to hear about the SDR project doesn't sound like it's doing too good there, Jimmy. But stick with it, I guess, or send it back to him and tell him to finish it up. I think that company's over in England, and I think I told you I tried to order one of his QRP kits and ended up on a waiting list that goes back to October of 23. And once I found that out, I told him to cancel it. I could not get that guy to respond or anything to that request. He took the order real quick though, so I had to go through PayPal and demanded my money back, and they got on him and got my money back, and I'm done with the whole thing. Anyway, that's the story on that. So over to Dave for his 73, and thanks everybody for checking in. This WA4LLR, this is N4LQ.
All righty. N4LQ, WA4LLR. Well, good morning to you, George. Good signal up here, especially when you kicked the afterburner on. You really came bouncing in. But no problem copying whatsoever, even without it. Well, not much more here. That had to be an interesting taste, Steve. Sardines and tobacco juice. Oh, me. Well, I can't say a lot. Through the years, I remember at least 2 older church members that would sit there with a big lip full of Copenhagen or something through the service and never even spit. Now, either they didn't generate any saliva or they could swallow it with no ill effects. But, oh, mercy. I was never that tough, so my hat's off to anybody that can do that or that can chew and eat sardines at the same time. Anyway, everybody have a great day. 7-3, God bless, and Lord willing, we'll catch you on Thursday. K4JAL, WA4LLR. Never surrender, never give up.
WA4LLR, K4JAL. That's exactly right, Dave. No, Steve, it came from 4-state QRP. They bought the boards, maybe from those people you're talking about in England, but they configured the kit, wrote a manual that didn't make any sense. A lot of the components they shipped with it, they had to send you some more later or whatever. They were very good to comply on that kind of stuff, but you just sort of had to figure this thing out from the get-go. Even some of the pins on one of the little voltage regulators, you had to wiggle them around and stick them in holes that they weren't designed to go in because of the way they'd bought the materials, and the instructions were wrong on how to do that. That's the way it started. But it's going to be a great radio. It's worth messing with. So I'm going to continue to work on it. And I understand you a whole lot better hearing about your ride. Oh, well. Sorry, I'll get it right this time. W4MEC, K4JAL, 7-3. Have a good day.
Okay, Jimmy, K4JAL, W4MEC. Yeah, I think the sardine folks are probably depression era people. I know my dad loved them in the can there. He probably had to live on them at one time. But he also liked the tamales that came in a can, too. I don't know if you've ever seen those things, but he loved those things and the sardines. And popped open that lid there and just dip in there with his fingers and enjoy them. So I've met a couple fellas like that. And they're all, from the same era, I think, and I think that has something to do with it. I haven't seen anybody eat sardines out of a can forever. And my worst ride experience with a fellow that I work with, and he would drive from Seals, Georgia, which was almost on the coast, to Moniac, Georgia, and the trip was about an hour and a half in a car with no air conditioning, and he would not open the windows, and this is in Florida. And to top it off, he smoked a cigar. He'd open the vent window. That was it. he would smoke a cigar. So it was quite the sauna and smoke application, but thankfully I only had to ride with him a couple of times. But that fellow was a character and a half. With his odds and behavior like that, but I'm sure we all have got our own oddities that people find funny anyway. So, all right, we'll look for everybody on Thursday, and let's see. I know Cliff checked out, so I'm not. I don't know if George is still there or if he's copying me, but I'll turn it over to George. K4GD and 730W4MEC.
K4GDN, you still with us, George?
Yeah, I couldn't really tell that Charlie had let it go. I had to have the BFO. I'm copying you and Dave pretty much okay, but that's about it. And I did copy some of K3OS in there. I'm on the, like I say, on the Drake 4Bs and running the butternut vertical this morning. And that seems to work fairly well with these conditions. And I'll try to get on Thursday morning and see how that goes at 8 o'clock. So I'll say 73. Thanks for calling in that. N4LQ, K4GDN.
What kind of radial system do you have on that vertical, George?
I don't have any radials on it. I've got the counterpoise that they sell for it, and I did some modifications. I added some more wires around the counterpoise. I've never used radials with it, and it's about 12 feet off the ground. N4LQ, K4GDN.
Yeah, it must be that salt water out there or something. It does a really good job for a vertical. I guess it's the time of day or something. It's a pretty good antenna. All right, well, we sure thank everybody for checking in. Hope you have a great day, and come back Thursday morning and at 8 o'clock a.m. and on Sundays at 6 p.m. This is N4LQ closing the Old Friends Net.